efforts. And so, so that's what we'll do a little bit. And then Dr. Ebenezer is going to lead us through all this categorization, which is tremendous work. And you know, by then it'll be time for the technology. And Stephanie's going to come in and help us with Google Drive so that everybody has access and understanding what different roles that you have as we move forward. So that is basically that. And so at this juncture, I'm kind of jumping in because I know time I've already taken is 9:15, and I want to make sure we optimize the time we have this morning. But the other day I shared with you what this learning community is going to be consisting of. And our monthly meetings as we move over into the fall, and the lesson planning and presentations to peers and demonstration lessons, and our in-classroom coaching and support from our outside experts and from individuals here in the district, and these collaborative electronic work groups. Currently, right now, and if there's any differences, let me know, but I've kind of navigated based upon your sign-up that you are still comfortable with the assignments that you were in yesterday. And if you are not, just, let me know and we'll work something else out. But I have Carolyn and Steve. Did I spell your name correct, Carolyn?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Marva and Tina. And then I have Catherine and Darren, Bethany, Andrea, and Susan working as a collaborative team for the 5th grade. And then there's 4th and 5th. Even though most of you are going to be teaching 4th and 5th, the whole goal of working together is that I ease you into the multiple lesson plans so that you can have that thoughtfulness in those lesson plans and the development from your peers. And that's the great piece behind that. At this moment, I have set aside Wednesday, August the 24th as our next work session here at JWE. However, there is electronic work group meetings that you'll have with your teams as you fit them in. I'm not putting any demands on that. At your pleasure, how you wish to work that out. You could meet on a Saturday morning when you both are fresh, awakening, and the house might be quiet, and you can think and collaborate electronically and communicate like that. That is all. And but the whole purpose of these collaborative work sessions. Oh, and I forgot. You don't have to write this. I have a copy for you. The purpose of all of these is to assist you with working with someone else and constructing appropriate lessons aligned to the units that we're moving forward into, and constructing the lessons with a highlight on the disciplinary core ideas. And we didn't even get a chance to really highlight that, but I am going to highlight it again today. But the core ideas, the science and engineering practices, along with these connecting themes, this is serious work. And so that is the reason that myself, Dr. Ebenezer, and others will be supporting you with thinking as you're thinking and working with each other. So you're not going to be left alone with all of this. How will we do the work? Again, the Google Drive. And I'll get some additional insight from Stephanie, as well as you all. But in my mind, once we get into Google Drive, you'll know you can just place article after article after article. But I like a little organization when I'm working with people. And so having folders set up might help us. And you click on a folder and it opens up. And listen, I'm talking all this talk. And I'm a novice at Google Drive, too. I'm just saying what this is going to do. Hopefully it will. But I do know that we can put videos in Google Drive. You can put articles. You can put things that stream. So if you find, and Dr. Ebenezer and I have looked at, and we have placed them in your lesson plan, and we'll pull it up today, links that just do a nice job of teaching one thing and showing kids. So when you're talking about this energy and the movement with matter, it's invisible to them, but it is something that's occurring. There's movement. And so to be able to show them that specific link we can put it in Google Drive so you can have access to it. And if you find something that's really good, but specific, so we don't want to do what sometimes happens, you find one good thing and you show the whole thing and it's covering more than what needs to be covered. But we'll do those little pieces. So all of that will be in Google Drive. At this moment, I have no idea what you want to do, but I just kind of gently looked at what do I think is possible between now and August 24th. And what I think is possible is completing the electrical lesson. What I think is possible is for another lesson to be started that's a part of the unit on energy, but now addresses light and heat, the absorption and transfer of light and heat. In structure and properties of matter, dealing with these particles and these activities that we're going to, it doesn't have to be a whole lot, but there are some specific activities that may very well be aligned very well in your book that we use in the district or another resource that you find. And then begin a lesson that's on the phases of matter. And our exploration that we've done for matter and also for the electricity really is giving us information that will help us with these two components here, or these two areas, these two, the units and these aligned lessons. When I look at the chunks of the performance standards for 4th grade, there are basically 4 main disciplinary core or 4 main areas. The engineering design is weaved into everything, grades 3 through 5. It's weaved into everything. However, there is a big chunk on energy, which is dealing with all of the things we've been talking about. There's a big chunk on waves. That's where sounds will land. That's where IT, all these things with waves. Earth systems, processes that shape the earth, weathering, erosion, those things will land in that chunk. And then structure and function, that's going to be your life science, getting into the structure of various living organisms and information process, which is also structure and function. And I will say that in these new standards, more than ever before, because more than ever before, IT and information transfer is so much a part of the learning process and the thinking. At the 5th grade level, there are 4 major chunks. Structure and properties of matter, which is getting into the particle theory, all these various things that are a part of some of the conversation. Matter and energy in organisms. So that's getting at some of the internal structures. Earth systems, space systems, stars, and solar system. I have not put any of these in a new order. It's just how the state has laid it out. However, if you, as a collective group, tell me, or Dr. Ebenezer and our whole group, that you want to sequence some of the living things, that content in sequence between 4th and 5th grade, if you're teaching both, we might be able to do that. The first unit is going to be a little out of step because we wanted to start with some things that were most comfortable, and but as we move and progress, there can be a little deviation, but we'll get that set up very soon. The roles in Google Classroom. Again, Stephanie's going to help me, but I'm pretty sure that we all can post. However, everyone will have an opportunity to view and comment, but you will be assigned certain roles as relates to the editing. So if you were in 4A, you're assigned to do one little a set of lessons. So I'm looking for you to have more of the writing going on, that kind of activity, and you're doing a lot more of the editing. But everyone else will be able to, hey, Darren, think about this, or view this comment to help your thinking as we're moving forward. The goal is to have that support. And in this development in Google Drive right now, it is to help us provide these additional activities that will help support the unfolding and that negotiation and construction of new knowledge. So, unit components. At this juncture, in this whole unit on energy, the first component that we've been working with is energy transfer. And under energy transfer, we've been dealing with movement of electrical charges. That's where we are. That's where we are. And then there's another little part under energy transfer that's going to deal with this light and heat. Then another component that we have not even discussed is energy and collision. So dealing with speed, all the kinds of movements that our children can create, the engineering behind that, the toy cars that we use. And I have another little handout that I will give you before you leave that's on speed that can be used as you think. I'm not telling you what to do because I'm leaving that up to you as a collective group as we lay it out. I just want to make sure that the selection of activities are rich, are deep, and that they're aligned to the kind of thinking, and they're not so surface. But that's basically it. And then the last one related to energy is the conservation of, did I put collision? Conservation of energy. So when you get your copy, scratch out collision, because it'd be conservation of energy. So that's this unit on energy. And as another example, we've talked about lesson plans. And I had to spend some time on this because I don't want you to get all bent out of shape and confused. But I also know that we have some things in our district that are pretty standard. And so in all of our unit plans, I would like to have all these standards where you can see how they're orchestrated. And I gave you an example on the energy and the matter. That first sheet was identifying all these different disciplinary core ideas, practices, all of that. Common Core Math, Common Core ELA, so that you see, and it's important for you to understand how this stuff orchestrates. For every unit, and we can have it for every lesson, but most importantly, what is driving the thinking? So we don't have all these little bits and pieces. And I know Dr. Ebenezer will, she's a very deep thinker, but she's very much into cohesive and coherence and all this stuff. And so having things that pierce the lesson, and as I have learned over the years with understandings that need to be forthright and running, that can be for 40 years of thinking, but the kids find relationship and relevance to, and give them purpose for why they need to do this. The knowledge and the do's, as we know, those are things that we've always focused on. But the understandings help us bring the connections. The assessments for a unit. As you know, at the end of a chunk of learning, there needs to be some kind of assessment, summative, formative, however. But we know that we're getting our kids ready for deep thinking and application of their knowledge. So we'll work together on that. Then, for each component, and that's major component, like energy transfer, like particles of matter, thank you, that's a major component. That's where that exploration and categorization comes in. I don't want you to have to do an exploration and categorization, because this is deep thinking for every little activity that you do. I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that. But for the major components, for each lesson, this is critical. The constructing and negotiating of the learning is a part of every lesson and the activities that you're developing. So as we continue with our energy lessons, we've done the exploration. There's going to be lessons that will be developed that are supported by activities. It's what you do every day. It's creating a lesson plan that is supporting that teaching and learning. Not the framework, but the real deliberate teaching and learning. And how are you engaging with the students in a process where they are doing the work of constructing that knowledge themselves? I gave you an example here based upon our current work. What you're about to do is start to look at the student conceptions, categorize that. You'll learn something from that. And that will drive some of these activities that are selected. We're piloting, we're using, we're modeling. Some of these sample outcomes for the electricity is if I were developing a sequence of activities that would help support that constructing and negotiation of what we have identified, it might be that I'm going to have them identify and locate the type of energy in the system and understand the electrical energy transfer and understanding of the electrical energy transfer and transformation. I'm up typing, so forgive me, I left out a word. But the point here is that it's deeper than just the vocabulary and the definition. You have to have teaching that's going to go deeper. Here, construct circuits and identify materials that conduct electrical energy. And then it says, see the energy and waves for the experiment, and we'll talk more about that. Just making sure that we are building and developing their understanding. That they have to construct series and parallel circuits and identify parts of the circuit and how they work. What do you have to do to make the circuit and the light dimmer or brighter? What do you do? Can the students cause the light bulbs to light up brighter or make them dimmer? So this is things that you may find an activity that does that. You may have to modify an activity that's going to help take it to another level. And I can't tell you that right now because I haven't looked at every activity in our books. But I just know that we may have to modify some of these activities and create lessons that will cause the development of how we need to have it. And then there's extending and translating. How do we apply it? How do we bring in the engineering and all these various pieces? And most importantly, how are the students and as adults reflecting? What may need to be modified and the assessing. So I just needed to share that with you. I'm going to pass out the PowerPoint. So it'll be something just as a reminder. You can call Dr. Ebenezer, myself, each other as you start engaging in some of your future work. But the most important is that we're not going to leave you alone. You'll be supported. And on the 24th, I would like to have some opportunity to collectively look at and talk through some of the work, because in a few weeks, children will be in front of you. And I know that what will...
Stop scaring us.
Oh, no, what scares me?
Not the children, that we only have a few weeks of summer left.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What I have on my heart heavy is that we have schools that have to be transformed. And it's a serious thing for me. So, and they're working. You've never seen my witch hat, but it may have to come out. But the reality is that people are working so hard. It's a tremendous lift. And so those are the things that also help me to appreciate everyone and the work that goes on and the support that everyone puts forward to help out for our children. So we just want to help you all. So with that said, I'm going to have Dr. Ebenezer come on up front, and she's going to work with you now for an hour and a half. I apologize, Dr. Ebenezer, it took 15 minutes. But we want to help you and help her help you make sense of your conceptions. And they do not have their papers yet.
Oh,
It's all up here.
oh, so this is here.
And you all mostly, these are two groups here and the third group. We're fine. I'm gonna have you join.
We have the original papers somewhere.
The originals are right here. These are all photocopies.
Okay, somebody will volunteer.
So, yes.
These are two groups.
The two groups that worked on electricity. Okay. So I'm gonna have, yeah, So these are copies from both classrooms. So when you can come here and then, yes. This is two sets, but it's worth all three. Okay.
Do you want us to go there?
Oh, wait. What did you do? Oh, no. Give me back one back. Sorry. There you go.
Okay. So what I like for you to do is to quickly go through those sheets. To see what's there for you. And we are going to learn how to go about categorizing these ideas and labeling them and using this. Remember, I do this stuff, I talk to you about intra and inter variations, and although there might be 20 different ideas, but when you group them, you will get a multiplicity of 4 ideas. And it's those ideas that you will go through. Okay, let's see how you do that. I don't need to group categorize them for you, but I want you to categorize and see. And then we will negotiate. You want to color code first? There are colors, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Color code the different categories. And chart paper.
We have chart paper, so do you want them to, once they start separating, put it on chart paper?
Yeah,
Because there's 3 groups.
as long as we can keep shifting, if it's not help or deleting something.
Okay, I'll let you guide it. All I know is there's color pencils here.
I need clarification, I was moving.
Going through here. Just read it now. Just go through it and read quickly. Just get an idea of what these books have done. Before
Oh, yeah, they got it.
I can use this on.
Absolutely. And we have plenty of chart paper. Okay. I'm just setting up directions for them.
His revenue, yeah, I would say that she was sick, and my family, you know, based on that, they not sick.
I'm going through yours. Okay, so we'll make yours.
Alright, so let's do this, let's do
First color code.
Yeah, you just described it.
After the end of this.
This one.
Okay, 7 on 7. Here are some pointers that you can use to help for.
So they basically, what they understand, so we're putting it in our own.
Yeah, and then this one.
I'll give it 3 or 4 different colors. Actually, I should use highlighters, right?
Either one, it's up to
Either
you.
one is okay?
Either one.
Yeah, there's a pink here. That's pink.
To the wire, so it's all there.
You need a blue?
Yeah, you're not talking about flow. Same thing with this one.
Yes, yellow. Right.
Yeah.
No, I know this, I know
Yeah, I was gonna say this, that's gotta be at least. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, there's another one.
But I guess they just added them all. Do we have the same copies?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to have the group that we did?
We have both.
We have both groups?
Okay.
Both groups?
First year, we have
All right.
those from both groups, and then we stop, but, yeah, we have both.
Yeah, yeah, we have both groups. Yeah, we have both groups, okay, that's fine.
Yes, no?
Yeah.
Couldn't get to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at a lot of the same,
Okay. So each one is doing grade 4 unit and grade 5 unit, is that the way?
No, I think we're doing both, because, we.
Oh, both
mixing
are from the other
classes.
Okay, so you're doing.
So we can separate the activities. Okay, I remember these pictures.
You do not have to worry about the observation as such, look at the predictions and the explanations.
Yeah.
Enter. Entering the wire.
Oh, you got it. Wow, that looks beautiful. I can't believe that this books are still there.
And they were some for $90. But I mean, I didn't spend half a day to all slightly. It was 70 Amazon. Prediction. I'm putting the paper. Take a look at this. That's the first thing to tell you to do. Ah, okay. First poured it in there. And after they read, you're asked them in their mind about how they might have it or no.
What's the next step?
Their mind in there. We are mostly looking at predictions and explanations.
Okay, so I'll take out observations.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
That's all we need. Just look at focus on predictions and
Yes.
third one, just focus on writing. They're writing.
Writing of their ideas.
No, writing, they're writing, students writing.
Okay.
Yes.
So if the students didn't do the explanation, but I can see in their preparation, like, for example, you know, they have heat in the bubble here.
We'll come to
Yeah,
that.
I think at least the meat.
Let's look at writing. We'll look at that. Focus on student writing first. Students diary.
Okay.
Water learning.
Focus on the students'
Students'
writings
writing.
of their predictions and explanations.
Right.
Okay.
It's just a direction.
Maybe we don't even need the second one.
Oh,
We
okay.
don't even need the second. So just say focus on students.
No, let me get this out. Okay, so what's third, Dr. Denise? What would you like
Yeah,
to do?
so, yeah, correct. Then focus on students' drawings. That's it. Okay, you can put for number 2 dash dash, identify categories.
Mm.
Categories. Same thing for third one. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, and maybe fourth one, yeah. Identify categories and labels. Teacher-made labels based on students' writings. Students' writings. Same thing, yeah. And teacher-made labels. And as a note, you can put the categories and teacher-made labels should align. They should not be, and it comes from the data. The teacher-made labels come from. Okay, those are, that's a good thing.
How do you want to spell it? Put like a dot or?
Yeah, you can do that any way of color coding. I used to just
So there's like.
highlight the whole sentence. So it's we have all the electricity.
Where did we decide on this last one? I don't know, we were putting the deep thought about the other one, we just wish you really thought deeper about it. Oh, and if you did electronic. Yeah. They went into more hiding and each one with more explanations. Yeah.
Okay, but look at just the explanations and see what they
That's
have.
what we do.
Okay.
So we did like, some kids just kind of explained what happened, some kids did the imaginary goggles.
Right. For instance, say I might see the pattern working and the light comes on. So that shows it's a relationship in the patterns and the light. The light is battery is the initiate. It's the thing that started there, and light is the constant. No, I wouldn't say that. It's not close to me. Higher thinking is when they talk about the Correct. This is the highest. Oh, it's good. Yes, yes, yes. This is the highest. Right? The electron. That is So how are you able?
Okay, so this first basically is the water was turned to a gas, and they got stages.
No, I know, but I mean, yes, that's what it was.
So this back, you see the salt. Now this salt still stays, the salt is still there.
But you can understand that energy is
These things, the water keeps on bubbling, these are more observations.
Okay.
And very oily. So that's an observation.
Well, they both said it. Move and take away. So they see things moving. Did anything else come up in the reporting?
No, I think that's pretty much right.
So they have their quotes. So we can take what they don't turn out and explain to us, we can say that it's the carrier, we can, so we can get right into that. And let's say it's the, okay, now, it's either why, so that's how we can introduce the terms a little bit. So we can, so if you can come up with the.
I thought I had-
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my.
Yes, separate. This body is. Oh, absolutely. It's focusing on the battery. You got it. Or it will be.